Alright, so it's a quarter panel install day on Project SVO, so let's get back at it. So we got the back of the panel all prepped. We drilled out all our holes that we marked. We are using a high strength steel cobalt 1/4 inch bit. It's about numerically equal to like a 6mm factory spot weld. So after we drilled our plug weld holes, we're going to go ahead and come in here with the coral wheel, fiber disc, whatever you want to call it. Come in here and just clean off all the slag that came through when you drilled the hole, just to make those nice and clean. And just do every hole, do about, I don't know, a 1/4 inch around the hole, just to make sure you get all the metal clean, so you have a nice weld, good penetration. Alright, so it's glue time. Again, we're using the panel bond 08115 from 3M. It is a 90-minute work time. Cure time is overnight, so it's super hard. It sits overnight. It gives you a lot of time to kind of play around with the panel gaps and all that. This gun here is model 510 newbie brand, not really sure. It's been in the family quite a long time, but yeah, the 3M uses a small plunger and a big plunger, and mixes in the tip and comes out already mixed. Now what you want to do when you use this, you don't want to just go straight to the panel with it. You want to run out a little bead, and by little bead I mean probably like a 2-inch bead, just to make sure the formula is thoroughly mixed, and just have a piece of scrap steel laying around. And I got my panel all marked just to remind myself where I'm going to be putting the glue. Up in there and in there. These two places I would strongly recommend just gluing instead of welding. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around this whole job with a small bead of glue, trying to stay away from the welded spots. But I'll go ahead and do some in here behind the sail panel. You want to kind of go up, down in a V formation. Make sure you get the whole thing coated. And what I like to do is go around my wheel lip too, because it's going to give me that extra barrier from water to get in. You can probably see my wheel lip is beat to heck. That's because I'm running 15 by 10s. Alright, so we got it glued. It's on there. Final fitment. You see some of those where the plug welds are going to go. If some plug welds like this one lines up on your port 15, don't freak out. You can come in here and take the drill and just clean that guy up with the drill. Now when you weld it, you'll have some good metal to go against. But yeah, everything's looking pretty good. The glue oozed out of some spots, which is totally fine. Down here where we knew we were going to glue it, it oozed out real nice, so I obviously took a glove and just smeared that lip. Made a nice factory seam seal to keep the moisture out. But yeah, all in all, it looks pretty good. It's time to weld her up. Again, one last time of fitting everything up. Make sure the hatch is closed, make sure your weather strip's on. And all the gaps are looking pretty good on the hatch. Gaps are looking decent on the door. Looks like when I weld, I may need to just apply some pressure in here. So we've done all of our spot welds. As you can see, they turned out really good. Now the goal is to keep them as flat as possible, so when you're done, they're super easy to grind flat. As you can see, that one looks pretty good. This one turned out like crap. I was welding some glue, so the glue really affects the cleanliness of your weld. But now we are on to the stitch welds where we're welding the two panels together. As you can see, our sleeve is sitting in the middle there. And I've went down this whole thing and just tacked the quarter panel onto the other two panels, so they're all one piece now. And what I'm doing is going in little increments here, letting the panel cool off. You'll have like about a 2-inch heat zone that you want to keep from getting super hot. Now this is an older car, so the metal is a little bit thicker, a couple gauges thicker than your everyday quarter panel. So you can go, on this I was able to go about 2 inches at a time. If you're not as good of a welder, you can go like 1 inch at a time and just jump back and forth. Say you'll do this area, then you come over here and do a little spot here, and you can do that throughout the panel, and eventually you'll have it all closed up. But yeah, it's welding really good. Like I said, besides the spots that have glue in them, your goal, guys, when you're doing these spot welds, I'll get an instrument here to show you. So when you're doing these plug welds, what you want to do is go around the outside and then finish it off in the middle. So it's kind of like you're pouring like a soft serve ice cream. You go around the outside, hit that sacrificial metal on the inner, and then come out and do just the center. And they should look just like that when you get them all done. That one is a pretty good one. Now your goal here, guys, is to bury the weld inside the sleeve. So you want to get it down inside the crevice, and when that weld builds up, it'll just puddle out into your quarters. So when you grind this weld down, it'll actually still exist inside that canal, so your weld will be buried. Just finished stitching this guy together. As always, I clean it off, with a stainless steel wire brush, and just visually check for pinholes. If you have any, go ahead and shoot a little wire in there. You don't want to see a bunch of chicken pecks when you go to grind this thing down, because that'll promote rust. But yeah, just clean it off good with a wire brush, inspect it, grind it, inspect it again, and yeah, everything looks pretty good. So we're back at it. We got our quarter all stitched in, all the plug welds done. Now comes the grinding and body work side of things. We're just going to come in here and grind this weld down. A lot of it stayed underneath the body panel, meaning it went into that 1/8 inch channel that we did. So hopefully you'll be able to keep a lot of the weld that's just below the surface. If you grind your weld off, you will be losing some structural integrity of the quarter panel. So yeah, we're going to go ahead and grind that. And same deal, you don't want to just stay in one place for too long. You kind of want to work an area. You don't heat the panel up and warp it. I got that all grinded down. As you can see, it looks pretty good. No pinholes, so I don't think I'll need to go back over this with a welder. If you do find some pinholes and you want to go ahead and plug weld them, whatever, go ahead and fill those. Or if not, you can come back with the tiger hair, or like a fine grade fiberglass filler, and just jam it, pack it in those holes if you do have pinholes. That's the right way to do it to make it waterproof and moisture resistant. But now that we got about 98% grinded down, we're going to come back in hit this with the coral wheel. This will polish up the steel a little bit and knock any little remainder, you know, what high spots are there. But it looks pretty good. We got all the plug welds grounded down. And again, don't go too far with this because you'll make it worse than it is. So you just want to lightly knock off the head and then finish it up with the coral wheel. So now we're going to follow up our repair with the 08852 cavity wax. It's a waxy type substance. You do have to shake it before putting it in. But your goal here is to just spray all the spots that you pretty much welded. You can coat the whole panel, but really focus on the spots that you welded. So yeah, just come in here like that. 3M does make a wand for this, and it really helps you get into the cracks and crevices you wouldn't normally be able to get into. So I recommend getting that wand, especially, you know, going through this hole is kind of hard with the can, but the wand makes it a breeze. So yeah, finish up your repair at the rust coating and should be good to go. Forgot to mention, guys, so materials, you go to a body guy and he gives you some, you know, what you think is astronomical price to install a quarter panel. It wouldn't be out of the realm, you know, $2,000–$3,000 for this quarter panel to be installed. By the time you pay for the part, the labor, all the materials, you know, you may think since I'm a body guy I get stuff for free, but as you can see here, you know, I had to buy the discs, the Cubitron cutoff wheels, the cavity wax. All that stuff adds up, and no, I don't get it for free because I work for a body shop. So when your body guy, you know, tells you a price, you know, consider all this work, all this labor, and the materials too. So he's not just ripping you off. All right, so we got that all coral wheeled down. As you can see, the metal's getting more and more polished. Next step is going to be hitting it with the 80 grit. It'll really highlight your high spots if you have any. But we're going to go ahead and take this down probably about 3 inches this way and 3 inches that way to make way for our filler. So yeah, guys, that's how you install a quarter panel on a 79 through 93 Mustang hatchback. My method again was gluing and welding. I always like to weld the seams. Some glue here and there around the wheel lip, and yeah, there's no right and wrong way to do this, especially for an older vehicle. But you definitely want to incorporate some welding in there. I wouldn't trust all gluing, but as long as you take the time. This took about 3 days, 2 hours a day, so about 6 hours total, and we are ready for some filler work. But hit up Donnie B's YouTube channel. I won't be going into the filler work part of things, but showed you how to get that quarter panel on there. So just hit him up if you have any questions, and appreciate you guys for watching.